What's up, YouTube? This is Mike, aka Bumblebee, with another video of the update of the Aqueon Proflex Model 4 Sump. Now, basically, I just want to give you guys an idea of what I did here. I have to say, overall, I'm really pleased with the system. Everything is working out according to my expectations. Now, just to give you a little breakdown of what I did here before I get to that sump part. I know I did state that I was going to be rearranging these cables and things in that nature to get them pretty much more organized, but I didn't really do that because of the fact that I was really more concerned on how the system was working, just to make sure that everything was in order before I had to organize everything the way I was, and then eventually something don't work and I gotta start taking it all apart again. So I wanted to make sure that this was running perfect. It's already been running pretty much since since yesterday, since I installed it, all day till today, this morning. Right now, this is the next day, and everything's been working fine. I did test out the system, make sure there was no leaks. That's all good. Thank God of that. So I'll just give you a little quick breakdown to what's going on here. This here is my pH probe. It's a Milwaukee SMS 122 pH meter, which basically comes with the connections for the regulator on the CO2 cylinder. As you can see, the regulator there. It does turn the solenoid on and off so it can feed oxygen, which will come in through this line here, and this is the bubble counter. As you can see, it's not blinking right now. It does have an alarm which would blink if when the pH rises. So, when it goes, when it rises, it turns it on. When it goes below 6.5, 6.6, it shuts it off. So like that, it won't go ahead and continue to break down more of the media that's in here. And how that works is that the CO2 goes into this chamber in this reactor, and it pretty much breaks down this arm media, and basically releasing the substrates that are in there, which is alkalinity, calcium, magnesium of the sort. So basically it kind of like stabilizes that in your tank. Then this here is the pH probe for this in particular pH monitor, and that is to assure that the pH doesn't go below my needs, and basically doesn't keep this CO2 cylinder on. So that's basically how that works. It's in that little collection cup, because unfortunately this calcium reactor does not come with the pH holder on top as others do. So basically I had to make my own adjustments on that, which is no big deal, because at this point I could monitor this fairly easy and make sure everything's okay. There is the drip that's coming out of there, which is pretty much coming out of this tubing here, and it goes down into here so I can control it, and then basically it just drips, as you can see, through the bottom into the sump, and that's how it feeds my sump. Okay, now that's my calcium reactor there. Basically this here is the Aqua EV240 with the mag drive 18. As you can see, it's doing its job, working fairly well. I did put here, as you can see, all of my pumps. Now this is a mag 12 that's here. This is the pump for the calcium reactor, and then behind there is another mag 12, which is right in there. But that is another mag 12 that's in there, and so that's basically two mag 12s that I have as my return pumps. Now I did dial them down some because eventually it's too much flow for this sump. So basically, as you can tell, That's 2,400 gallons per hour that are being pumped back, minusing, you know, through the tubing and whatnot. Eventually that's going to take away some gallons per hour, but eventually the sump itself was just flowing too much water. That was not even going down through the bubble counter, which I'll show you in a little bit. But I did put here a pump. This is just a regular pump here that I put that to turn to make sure that I could see. As you can see, there's a lot of areas here which can create a problem later on in the future if I didn't have water circulating well. So I did put a pump here to make sure that nothing settles, you know, so it can all be pumped back into the system. This is basically just my ghetto rig of for my protein skimmer, as you can see. And this basically is just the control board that I had built myself before I got my digital reef keeper light. I am still using it for certain pumps for my light that's here, as you can see. I can turn it on and off. This other one here, this here is just for my refugium. I didn't figure I had to put that to the digital reef keeper lead for my refugium light. And then basically other connections here is just for like my pH probe that's here, that's controlling the calcium reactor. This here is connected. These are the two PC4s. Now the reason why I connected it to this board here is because this is GFI protected as well. That's how I built this. So if anything ever happened, any water or any sort of any pumps ever busting and spraying down here or whatever, you know, I can make sure that it won't cause no fire or no damage. So it automatically would just shut down. And I do have in the future, just in case, you know, any other connections that I need to do, I always have extra outlets to control whatever else I add on later. Anyway, moving on, we're going to come over to this side here now. Now, as you can see, that's the Aqua EV240 working. It's working quite well. I have no complaints on this skimmer in particular, because this skimmer kicks butt. It really does. Now, I know I stated previously before I was having a pH problem, and what I ended up doing here is, you can see these lines here. I have these lines right here. These lines are going outside, which are feeding, I guess, air from the outside into this in particular protein skimmer. For the reason being is that with the outside air has helped my pH to go up, so I did see a change in that, and I have to say that worked quite well. So if anybody ever has problems with their pH, if you have a way so you can get the airline valve of your protein skimmer feeding from the outside air, that'll work. So basically here is my sorry, this is the control valve here, and I did put this here because of the fact that I have to buy a T to feed it to go downward, because what happened here is this was splashing everywhere and it was creating a lot of micro bubbles, so I was just getting all that in my tank. But this worked out for now. Later on I'm gonna go run to Home Depot, or actually Lowe's is around the corner from me, and purchase a T fitting there, so like that I can make sure it feeds downward. This here is the Mag Drive 18 that's feeding this protein skimmer, and here is just the pH probe. This is the pH probe for the digital reef keeper, and this is the iTemp probe. Now, as you can see, this is the wall here that I was referring to earlier as far as the flow goes. Now, if you notice, I did dial it down. You can see it there. The ball valve is slightly turned, and then the second one over there as well. All because of the fact that there was so much flow coming down through here that the water was just splashing from here. It was just going over, flowing down into here. And that's not supposed to work that way. As you can see, there's a wall here, and that is where the water should be kept, so it can go through the bubble diffuser, just to make sure that you get no micro bubbles into your tank. But unfortunately, the amount of flow that was going through there was just flowing over, and that was a problem itself eventually I feel like I could still open it up a little bit more. I still got to tweak that a little bit, but here is the refrigerant area. Now I did put some live sand in there with some live rock and some chaetomorpha. This is a little piece, and then basically this is the refrigerant light up here, which I'm just running with a regular bulb, which is one of those compact fluorescent bulbs, which basically does 65K, which is daylight, and that's in Kelvin. So like that, it will be able to, you know, feed the amount of light that this chaetomorpha would need in order for it to grow the bacteria and all that other stuff in there as well. I did put this here just so like that I could clean it from time to time. As you can see, I do got the socks running, as I indicated before. I was gonna have them on for a couple of days just so like that I could pick up any stuff that's going into the tank for now. I'm not really too concerned about the socks for right now because I don't have no corals in there, so I'm not that concerned yet about that. So that's not a big problem. So I'm just going to leave that for the time being. So you can see this is how everything has been connected. Now, as far as this goes, I did use Teflon. I did rather state before that in my previous video that New York Stilo made a review on this, and he did mention that they failed to put that in the instructions on the installation manual, and I did go over and I noticed that they still basically have it the same way. So I did put Teflon on there, and I have no leaks whatsoever. I kind of hand tightened it. I did put down here on this first chamber, as you can see, there's a power head. Okay, that's a power head Corilla 1. That's basically just kind of like kicking everything up down there so nothing settles. So then like that I don't have no problems later. Now once I do get everything else up and running well, I'm going to be filling that up in there with live sand, and then over here I'm going to be putting miracle mud. So like that basically I can get all the nutrients that the tank needs. So like that I could be a little bit more successful with what I put in the tank in the future. And that's basically it, but this is what it looks like. Everything has been working fine, no leaks whatsoever. I have to say that I'm really happy and content with the way this sump works. I got no complaints so far. You know, I know it hasn't even been a full day yet, but it's working beautifully, and I love the setup. I love the way it looks. You can see there goes the bubbles on the CO2. It just went on. So that's feeding. I gotta dial that down, so it's feeding too many bubbles. But that's pretty much it right there. And that's it. That's basically my setup so far. This is what it looks like. It's coming along so far. This here was teed off, and this is what feeds my calcium reactor. Instead of adding a pump, I just took it from there because I got plenty of flow coming in already, and no need to add more pumps like that to avoid heat problems later on in the future. But I don't seem to have a problem with that so far. I keep my apartment fairly I keep it pretty much well cool in here. So that's pretty much it. That's what the sump looks like. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions of any sort, anything you see that I got here wrong, or anything that I can do to improve the system, you're more than welcome to comment. Like I said, you know, I've learned a lot by watching videos, and I know there's a lot of guys out there that know their stuff, so it never hurts to go ahead and help someone in this hobby, because we all know any help that we can get is greatly appreciated. So thank you once again for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and that's pretty much it. So take care and enjoy your experience with this hobby. Later.